Hello, boys and girls. It is Miss Olvera for day 2 of your daily read out loud. So today we will be reading chapters 3 and 4 of Miss Sue Has No Clue by Dan Gutman. And now, I remember yesterday we read chapter 1, which was $5,000. And chapter 2 was The Queen of Cupcakes. Okay, so we will begin chapter 3. Now tomorrow, boys and girls, I will be reading chapter 5 and 6. Okay, here we go. Chapter 3. Okay, welcome to the carnival. Now remember, what are they trying to do? They need to fundraise. And how much did they want to fundraise? Do you all remember? It was a lot of money. They even said maybe $1 million. Do you think that's possible? Can we fundraise for $1 million? You tell me. Over the next month, everybody got ready for the school carnival. The parents and the teachers, they built lots of booths and games. And in art class with Miss Hannah, we made posters. After school, we went to all the stores in town and asked if they would display our artwork in their windows. The town put together a big banner across the main street. And look what it says. Come to elementary school carnival on Saturday. Finally, it was the day of the carnival. When I go to school with my parents and my sister, Amy, it looked like the whole town was waiting to get into the playground. I saw Ryan, Michael, Neil, Andrea, Emily, and their parents. There were lots of balloons and music was blasting. Booths, they were being set up. One table was filled with cupcakes, cookies, brownies, that people had baked. There was a little area for pony rides. The street next to the playground had been turned into a car wash. Miss Sue was running around with a bullhorn, making sure everybody was ready. The giant thermometer was mounted on a stage. Finally, the gate to the playground, it opened, and we all rushed in. I could smell the popcorn popping. I love popcorn. There was electricity in the air. I have a bad feeling about this, Alexia said to me as her mother climbed onto the stage. Welcome to the elementary school carnival, announced Miss Sue. Before we get started, our principal, Mr. Klutz, would like to say a few words. So then Mr. Klutz stepped up to a microphone and he tapped with his finger. Thank you all for coming out on this beautiful day, he announced. I'm sure you're going to have a wonderful time. And just to make it extra special, I'll make a deal with you. If we raise $5,000 today, I will. And then everybody got quiet. And they leaned in like this because they wanted to hear what Mr. Klutz was going to say. Because he's always making deals with us. One time he said that if we read let me show you this. He said if we read 1 million pages, he would turn the gym into a video game arcade. And then another time, he said that if we do 1 million math problems, he would kiss a pig on the lips. Ew. He also married a turkey after we made a really nice Thanksgiving display. That was cool. So, if you raise $5,000 today, said Mr. Klutz, I will spend a night in jail. What? Principal Klutz was willing to spend a night in jail if we raised $5,000? Oh man, I would pay to see that. So Miss Sue walked around with a big bucket. Parents were pulling out their wallets and putting money into the bucket. How much money would you put, boys and girls? Dad, I asked, do you have $5,000 so we can send Mr. Klutz to jail? I'll contribute $1. my dad told me, handing me a dollar bill to put in the bucket. I walked around the carnival with my family. There was a long line of tables, and behind each one was a parent or a teacher doing something so they can raise money. Miss Hannah was in charge of face painting. Our lunch lady, Mrs. Lagrange, was selling chocolates, summer sausages, and flavored popcorn. There was a silent auction where grown-ups could bid on all kinds of things. You could buy gift wrapping paper at one table, and then at another table, they were even selling elementary school underwear. Great news! Miss Sue shouted into her bullhorn. We have raised our first $100. Everybody cheered, yeah! Miss Sue put the money into a metal box, and then she drew a line on her giant thermometer. Because remember, every time they make so much, they fill up that thermometer. The thermometer was not meant to take your temperature. Remember that. So our Spanish teacher, Miss Holly, had the booth next to the thermometer. She had a big glass jar filled to the top with gumballs. The person who guesses how many gumballs are in this jar wins $30, Miss Holly told us. And it costs just $1 to play. My mom gave Miss Holly $1, and I wrote my guess on a piece of paper. I would say, how much would you guess? But then we can't see the gumballs. Silly Miss Olvera. 100 million gumballs. I hope I win. At the next table was Mr. Tony, who runs the after-school program. A sign on his table said, Goating Booth. How does this work? My dad asked Mr. Tony. Well, if you pay $50, I'll take the goat off your front lawn. There's a goat on my front lawn? Asked my dad. Not yet, said Mr. Tony, but there will be later today, after I put it there. You're going to put a goat on my front lawn? Asked my dad. Well, not necessarily, Mr. Tony told him. If you pay $50, I won't put the goat on your front lawn. I don't want a goat on our lawn, my mom shouted. They eat everything in sight, and they poop everywhere. Ew. You better pay the $50, Dad, I suggested. My dad didn't look happy. But he pulled out his wallet, and he handed Mr. Tony $50. Just so you know, Mr. Tony told him, we're having a special sale today. For just $40, I'll put a goat on someone else's front lawn. And you get to choose which lawn to put it on. Oh, is that nice, boys and girls? Oh, no. That's a pretty good deal, Dad, my sister said. Can we pay $40 to put a goat on Andrea's front lawn? I asked. No, said my mom. Andrea's mother is my friend, and I would never do a thing like that to her. What's the big deal? I asked. Andrea's mom could just pay $50, and Mr. Tony wouldn't put the goat on her front lawn either. Isn't that right? Exactly, said Mr. Tony. It's sort of like buying goat insurance. Where do you keep all the goats? My dad asked him. Oh, I don't have any goats, replied Mr. Tony. Well, then if you don't have any goats, how can you put them on anyone's front lawn? I asked. That never came up, said Mr. Tony. Most people just pay the money, so I don't need any goats. What a scam! If you ask me, Mr. Tony is full of baloney. Miss Sue was walking around. We're up to $200, she shouted into her bullhorn. So she put the money in the money box and she drew a new line on her giant thermometer. The next booth had the words peace and love written all over it. Our crossing guard, Mr. Louis, was standing there in a tie-dyed shirt. Hugs for $1, Mr. Lou shouted. Kisses for $2. Come by a kiss and a hug. No, thank you, my mom said as we passed by. Right next to Mr. Lou's booth was another booth with Mr. Docker. He's our science teacher, standing behind it, and he was holding a toad in his hand. And the sign over the booth, it said, "Kiss a toad, $1." "This is Eastern spadefoot toad," Mr. Docker told us. "It's a smooth-skinned toad that uses the hard spades on the hind feet to dig burrows in sand or loose dirt." "Oh, very nice," said my dad. "But I'm not paying $1 to kiss it." "No, you don't understand," said Mr. Docker. "You pay $1 so you don't have to kiss it." "So if I pay you $1, I don't have to kiss the toad?" asked Dad. "That's right," said Mr. Docker. "What if I kiss the toad anyway?" my dad said. "Well, then you don't have to pay $1. That sounds like a fair deal to me," Dad said. And so he leaned over, and he kissed the toad. "Ugh! Disgusting." My dad just kissed a toad. I thought I was going to throw up. "How about the rest of the family?" Mr. Docker asked. "Would you like to kiss the toad?" "No, thank you," said my mom. "Yuck, not me," said my sister Amy. "Count me out," I said. "I'm not kissing a toad." "Okay, well then that will be $3, please," said Mr. Docker. So my dad pulled out the money. "Hey, you saved $1, Dad," I told him. And at the next booth, there was a big tub of water with some watermelons in it. Our gifted and talented teacher, Miss Coco, was behind the booth. The sign said, "Bobbing for watermelons." "Isn't that supposed to be bobbing for apples?" my mom asked Miss Coco. Here's a picture of Dad kissing the toad. Boys and girls, would you have kissed the toad? I wouldn't have. I would pay the $1. The supermarket didn't have any apples today, so Miss Coco said, "So I got watermelons instead." "And I can't fit a watermelon in my mouth," said my mom. "Then you have to pay $1, said Miss Coco. My mom handed Miss Coco $1. Fundraising is weird. So that's the end of chapter 3. That was a long chapter. Now we have chapter 4. Are you all ready? We have a winner. $500, Miss Sue yelled into her bullhorn as she put more money into the money box. "We have now raised $500. Everybody loud out, "Woo!" And a new line was drawn on the giant thermometer. My parents wanted to go bid on some boring stuff at the silent auction, and my sister went running off to hang out with her friends. And Dad, he gave me $10 and said that I could walk around with all my friends. They weren't hard to find. There was a section of cool games for kids to play, so I ran over. Ryan, Michael, Neil, and Alexia were there. So was little Miss I Know Everything and her crybaby friend Emily. "Let's play water balloon toss," Ryan said. Our speech teacher, Miss Laney, was at the water balloon toss, and she was poking her face through a hole in a shower curtain with a drawing of a clown in it. "Betcha can't hit me, AJ," Miss Laney yelled. "Betcha I can," I yelled back. "Water balloon tossing is violent," said Andrea. "I don't think it's very nice to throw objects at people, and it's not a good message to send to children." "Can you possibly be more boring?" I said to Andrea as I grabbed a big purple water balloon. "This will cost you $1, AJ," Miss Laney said. "What?" "It's a fundraiser," Michael told me. "The whole point of the carnival is to make money for the school." I pulled $1 out of my pocket and I put it in the bowl on the table. And then I picked up a water balloon and I chucked it at Miss Laney. "Aw, I missed!" "Ha ha ha ha!" yelled Miss Laney. "Na na na boo boo, want to try again, AJ?" "Yeah!" I yelled, grabbing for another water balloon. "Well, $1, please," said Mrs. Laney. I put another $1 in the bowl, then I picked up the water balloon and I threw it even harder at Miss Laney. Do you think he hit her? What do you think? I missed! Ha ha, you stink! Miss Laney yelled back at me. Then she stuck out her tongue and made funny noises. Are you going to take that, AJ? Neil, the nude kid, said. I took another dollar out of my pocket and I put it in the bowl. And this time I took careful aim. Where am I? Where am I? I lost my spot. Oh, threw the water balloon a little softer and hit Miss Laney right on the nose. Splat! The water balloon exploded and she was soaked. In your face, I yelled, and everybody cheered. We have a winner, Miss Laney said as she toweled off. Well, what do I win? Miss Laney reached under the table and came up with a plastic bag filled with water. It took me a few seconds to realize there was something else inside the bag. You win a goldfish, said Miss Laney. Goldfish are cool. I will name him Fishy, I said as I took the plastic bag. Fishy T. Fish. The T stands for the. He will be my new friend. And that is the end of chapter 4. So boys and girls, I will continue tomorrow and I will read chapters 5 and 6. Okay? Again, this is the quiz number. Do not test on it yet because I need to finish the book first. Okay? All right, boys and girls. I hope you enjoyed chapters 3 and 4 and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, boys and girls.